The following video is filled with just my opinions and thoughts about this subject. Please take what I say with a grain of salt and try not to take it too seriously, as I'm just some random guy on the internet. Anyways, on to the video. I don't think there's any person in this entire world that doesn't look up to at least one person. Everyone has heroes, and everyone has people they're inspired by. But what happens when people go too far with their admiration? What happens when people expect too much from the people they think incredibly highly of? Humans are flawed creatures. Expecting perfection and expecting people to never make a mistake is severely stupid in my opinion. That doesn't mean that people shouldn't be held accountable, but I think people deserve a chance to grow and become better. Of course, it really depends on what they did, because personally, I think certain things are inexcusable and irredeemable. I won't make a list of things I find irredeemable, but you can probably use common sense to figure out what I'm talking about. In any case, it can be extremely damaging to not only the person being looked up to, it can be devastating to the fans as well. Let's first go over how it affects the people being admired. When someone becomes popular, even on a small scale, pressure starts to push on them as more and more eyes start to stare, and people start having opinions about them. Not only can comments be brutal, but others can begin to start looking up to them. While that doesn't sound bad, I personally think it is. More and more pressure starts to build as people expect them to be perfect and completely unproblematic. As soon as creators or celebrities show any sign of a flaw, their fans can become disillusioned and start to attack the person they envision to be flawless. And as pressure comes to a certain level, cracks can start to show and more imperfections can be shown to the world, causing even more hate or attacks on the person. It's a sickening cycle that I've seen happen to a few creators and celebrities. People that didn't deserve to be put through that pattern of abuse. They, however, aren't the people that can be hurt the most. The people that can be hurt the most are the fans. Fans start out by discovering people that they can either relate to, look up to, or are entertained by. As they continue watching the content created by the person they're expressing interest in, they can start to become infatuated by the idea of the person. Fans can start to believe that they know the person personally. This is called a parasocial relationship, and it can be extremely harmful for a few reasons. Since they can start to feel like they know the person, they're more likely to not see the red flags or terrible traits of the person. They can excuse awful behavior and actions of the person because this person would never do this, or they probably didn't mean to do this. They bend over backwards making excuses for them because they fully trust the person and who they've come to quote-unquote know, while in reality, fans only know the version of the person that they've allowed to be shown to the world. The squeaky clean or best version that has been hand-curated for the internet and for the fans. This can create a very unhealthy environment for the fans, and it can even become predatory. There's already some form of power dynamic between celebrities and creators and their fans. If you add the fact that fans can be manipulated into excusing behavior, there can be a huge abuse of power that happens. People can tell their fans to go after certain people that they either don't like or are jealous of, and fans, because they idolize the person so much, will blindly follow and do whatever the person says. This can be even more harmful if the person decides to abuse their power in more insidious ways. You should be able to know what I mean. I'm not going to be saying it because it's disgusting and one of the worst things you can do to someone, and I don't want to mention that. Honestly, I've dealt with being one of the fans in question to a certain terrible creator. No, I won't be saying the name of this creator, however, it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about. I love their channel so much, and I thought I could trust the person by only seeing the persona they had created for the internet and their channel. I feel so stupid now after the fact, but at the time, I didn't know any better. I had never dealt with finding out that the people I looked up to could be the worst type of person, and could hurt others in the most disgusting ways. Now that I'm a little bit more mature in that way, I realize my mistake in putting people up on a pedestal. Nowadays, countless other people I used to look up to have been exposed for being horrible human beings. It's been hard to process all of this, honestly. It seems like every day more and more people are getting exposed, and their dirty laundry is being aired out to the masses. This goes back to my original point. Humans are flawed creatures. While people should be held accountable, I feel like a bit more nuance should be used when judging others' actions. I see this most often when people bring up old tweets or older posts to expose creators. I think that they should be held accountable for these things. However, I think people should assess whether the creator or celebrity has changed, and that's done by looking at their current actions and scrutinizing them to gauge whether or not they have. It is possible for someone to change, by the way. I know some people don't believe others can change, but that's simply not true. For example, Emily Artful used to be a horrible person to other people online. However, she evolved and became a much better person by actually trying to grow into a better person. If someone is willing to change and willing to work through their issues and realize how terrible they've been, I believe they deserve a second chance. If you disagree or agree and have another point to make, please comment down below your thoughts on this. If you're interested in seeing my art outside of YouTube, my Instagram will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching! Toodles doodles!